right, folks, we are at the last of the orientation videos. We're going over how you get a grade in the course. So there are multiplicity of quizzes. One is the plagiarism quiz that's due in week 2. It's worth 10 points. You can take that sucker as many times as you want till you get a perfect score. Then there are 17 multiple choice quizzes. These are the timed chapter quizzes. You get about 40 minutes to complete the 15 multiple choice questions. Sometimes I do a true false, but mostly multiple choice. They cover the book and lecture material, worth 255 points in total. There are 2 essay exams. These are not timed. They're open book, open notes, but you are only allowed to use course material. I'm going to say that again. You are only allowed to use course material. If you use any outside sources, any other websites, you get a big fat 0 on the essay exam. Book, lecture, and supplemental material provided by the course, and that's it. So one thing to note is that the weekly discussion board questions are often similar to the essay exams. So if you use the course material in the weekly homework discussion boards, that can help put together answers for the essay exams. But if in the weekly homework you choose not to use course material, which is required, but instead use Wikipedia or history.com or some other source, you're not going to be able to use that material when it comes to the essay exams, at least not without being in danger of getting a 0. So again, kind of the lesson here is use the course material in the weekly homework, and then again on the essay exams, and you'll be good to go. So there are 2 essay exams. They are not comprehensive. The first one goes over the first 2 units, and the second one goes over the second 2 units of the course. Required discussion board points we're going to cover in a minute, but there's 225 of them. And then you have an analysis paper that is due in, I think, week 3 it is, that is worth 60 points. So a total of 710 points. The normal grading scale, and I do round up, so if you have an 89.5, I bump you up to a 90% and you get an A, or 79.5, you get the point. Okay. So let's look at the online discussion board points, because they are not confusing, but they do take a little bit of information to understand how they work. So except for the last week is its own beast. In all the other 3 weeks, the discussion boards are open for 2 weeks. In the first week, you complete the homework. That means you post your answers. And in the second week, you work on your replies. So week 1, working on the posts. Week 2, you'll get a new set of discussion board questions, and you'll be working on the replies for week 1. Week 3, you'll get a new set of discussion board questions, and you'll be working on the replies for week 2. Week 4, that's the last week, you'll be working on the replies for week 3, plus the post and the replies for week 4. That's the one that gets kind of crazy and all condensed, okay? Each discussion is worth 15 points, 9 points for answering the questions, 6 points for doing the 2 replies, 3 points each, okay? To get full credit, number 1, you got to answer the question completely. 2, you must provide relevant information from the course material. 3, you must cite your sources. Simple in-text citation, Conlin page 46 is sufficient, or Gardner lecture 2. And then for the reply post, we'll cover that in a minute. So there are 255 points total. You only need 225 points. So that means you got 30 points. I call them the flex points. Essentially, they are 2 discussions that you can completely skip. They get marked as excused. It can be any 2 discussions you want. You don't need to let me know. Skip whichever 2 you want. I'll mark them excused, and you get them, and you don't have to do those 2. However, if you would like, you may complete all of the discussions, not skip any. I still will mark 2 of them excused, but I will take the points from those 2 and move those points over to the extra credit column. I will offer other extra credit opportunities, but this is one way to earn extra credit in the course. Okay, max of 25 extra credit points, by the way. All right, so in terms of what you need for full credit, the full 15 points for a discussion, answer the questions completely, cite your sources, blah, 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 blah. But the response posts are the ones I said I was going to wait a minute to talk about. So number one, the reply posts are not peer reviews. Your job is to to tell me how great of a job your fellow peer did, how well they explained something, or how you didn't understand it before, but now you understand it so well, or how their answer was similar to yours. None of those are what you're supposed to be doing, but rather you're supposed to be discussing the course content for the week. So think of it as an ongoing discussion, if you will, about the Civil War, its causes and its effects. And your job in the replies is to continue on that conversation. You do need to provide relevant information from the course material in both your post and your replies. You do need to cite your sources in both the post and the replies. And for the replies, you need a minimum of 200 words per reply, so that's 400 words total. For the post, it's a minimum of 500 words, and that's a minimum. Oftentimes, you may go beyond that. And by the way, that's a minimum for the entire post and the entire reply, not a minimum per question, for example. Things that your reply post should not do. Number one, be overly critical or concentrate on your fellow students' ability to write or to be grammatically correct in their answers. And then also review the etiquettes for online discussion boards earlier and posted in this syllabus. All right, the analysis paper is kind of like, if you've done in high school what they call the DBQ, document-based questions, it's similar to that, except for in this class I'm only asking you to analyze one primary source document and to incorporate course material, that's the textbook lecture material, to help set the historical context for that analysis of and discussion of that particular document that you choose. We'll come back to this in a lot more detail. In week 2, I'll give you analysis paper prep material to get you going so you clearly understand the assignment. I'm more than willing to review rough drafts, so there's no reason you can't get an A on this assignment if you're willing to work hard. It's a pretty short one too, 3 to 4 pages, double-spaced. And you don't need to do any outside research on your own. So course material and the primary source document of your choosing, and I provide you with quite a few in the course materials. So that's worth 60 points, not due until week 3. So altogether, again, 710 points. It's a very basic point system. The weight of each, of the essay exams and all that is built into the point system, so you don't need to worry about that. And if you have any questions, what can you do? Call me, email me, text me, schedule a Zoom session if you need to go over your grade, if you're concerned, or if you have questions. Okay, that is all that I have for the orientation videos. You should be at this point pretty familiar with Canvas. We've been using it for a bit at Merced College. But if you have any questions with that as well, feel free to come to call me or schedule a Zoom session. All right, next is working on the introduction discussion, and then when you're done with that, getting busy working on week 1 course material, which will be open by Monday at noon, if not sooner. All right, folks.